Hi everyone, I'm Veetika. I'm the product designer for Verify CI. And today, once more, I'll be talking about the issue around representing needs, which is DAG relationships in pipeline view. The previous time I spoke about this was in context to the solution validation exercise that I was taking care of. And this is an extension of the same exercise, but now I would be giving a much bigger picture of what's happening on that front and where we are right now with this. So moving ahead. Again, I know I tried to explain this the last time, but I was myself not very satisfied with that method. So I'll try something new this time to explain like what needs relationship really is and how is it different from what we have today in the pipelines view. So let's assume we have a pipeline with three stages, and each one of those stages they have jobs within them. So there's a job in the stage three, which is only dependent on the job, on the last job in stage one. But to run, it has to wait for all the jobs in stage one and stage two to be done first, and then only it can start. So this is the current model of execution that we have as of today. Now, what difference would needs relationship bring in? Uh, when users would have the ability to establish the needs relationship, they could define that my job, which is in the third stage, it only depends on this particular job, which is in stage one, and it doesn't need to wait on all the other jobs which are in between. And so it could run right after that particular job succeeds. And this is going to like reduce the pipeline run execution time by many minutes. Like this is very useful for users. Here is an example of what a regular pipeline graph looks like. And this is a screenshot of a pipeline graph of a user. And this is from the feedback issue. Now, looking at, so this user has used needs keyword that allows them to create dependency between jobs and create needs relationship. Now let's look at what we delivered as an MVC in 13.2 that we called DAG visualization MVC. So we provided them with this visualization that allowed them to get a better picture of what is the exact like state of execution for their jobs. Here, if you look at this visualization, pretty much all the jobs in every stage, they connect with all the jobs in the next stage. And that's logically, that's incorrect. That's not what really happens. And this is a very wrong representation of the dependency and the connections. So this kind of gave them a very clear picture of how the jobs are dependent on each other, and they could actually understand like, oh, if this job is not running, then which exact job is it waiting on, and how long would it potentially take for this one to run. So this did solve a lot of problems for them. Then, I mean, we were running a solution validation exercise on this particular solution that we delivered. And the research, how it proceeded was the last time I spoke about this was all happening in a public feedback issue. The link to the issue was given to the users along with this new feature when it was released in beta. So, sorry, when they looked at the new visualization, they just had to go and click on a link in the banner and they were redirected to this public issue. But how this was taken forward was so we allowed for the issue to stay there for at least it was live for about 1.5 months, so that there's enough feedback. We gathered enough feedback. We had participation from 26 unique participants, and there was a lot of activity going on that issue, and that was really great. So we used the opportunity to recruit participants for user interviews as well, because we had people who were willingly ready to share their feedback, and we just reached out that if they would want to share more details about the opinions they had or the feedback that they wanted to provide, and the ones who agreed, we interviewed them. So we had about 6 people to interview from the recruited from the same issue. Now, before I get to the analysis of this whole research, I'd like to talk about something else as well. This is kind of a break. I'm sorry for that, but I'll come back to the analysis part. Now, in the parallel, while all of this was going on, we figured we were able to identify some very obvious problems, and looking at the activity that was happening on the issue, it was pretty clear that this is going to take some time. And there was no way that we could just hurry and wrap it up and provide something by quickly extracting insights from that public feedback issue. So we were fine that that exercise was going to take some time. But in the meantime, it was kind of a responsibility to not let it be like that, like try to do something from our end. So as an MVC, we started to think like how could we improve it in the meanwhile. So here is an example of a very common comment that we received on that public feedback issue, and not just there, like it was like this is what people were usually saying about this when they looked at it for the very first time. So this says, when I first heard about the feature, which is DAG visualization, I visualized something very similar to the standard pipeline overview, but with direct edges between jobs. So in a screenshot before, yeah, here I talked about the connections that we showed today. So what users anticipated naturally was that we would just fix these and we would just like represent the correct connections with these connections, like to represent the actual dependency instead of rolling out a whole new visualization to solve that problem. And so we found that as a like very safe area to play with. And all we had to do was just correct a few connections. So this issue was opened by Jason, and we started to work on it. This was happening around 13.3 milestone. Uh, so I would quickly go to the issue and show the designs that we had worked on. Now the problem was the same, like the connections should represent the actual dependency between jobs. But after the first initial designs were put up, I mean, it was very natural that more people had, like they came up with different corner cases and use cases where we have to tackle a list of different issues as well. So what I had proposed was, let's provide two set of options to users to organize their pipelines. One is stage and the other is needs. So both of these, because we figured that needs alone is not going to solve all the problems, and some users would eventually have to look at the organization based on stages as well, because that's also critical for many of the issues they're trying to solve there. And if they choose to organize by needs, then all the stage names would go away, but we would probably use colors to denote those stages if we have a limited number of stages. And the connections would only represent the actual dependency between the jobs. And this was pretty simple. Then we faced some other problems, like when there are a lot of connections, it was getting very overwhelming. So I provided this like another interaction that if I am interested in knowing, investigating about a particular job, and I just want to know that uh, what all jobs does this one particular job depend on, and like what's the trail, what all does it have to wait on. So I just have to hover on it, and everything that it depends on would get highlighted, and everything else apart from it would be like would appear with a subdued visual treatment in 40% opacity on that canvas. Then there was another use case, which is what would happen to the jobs which don't depend on anything. So it is not necessary that in a pipeline all the jobs have to depend on something or the other. Like there could be ones without any dependency, and they would still run, like they would still be executed by stage. So we are adhering to the level of execution here. So let's say if the last job from the previous stage was executed at the fourth level, that means this job is going to start at the fifth level. It's a little complicated, but I mean, this is the most simplification that could be done in this case. So yeah, this went pretty well. Now I'll come back to the presentation. So this was the state of this. This is the present state of this particular issue as of today. Now, coming back to the research analysis. So on analyzing all the data that we had from those 26 comments from the issue and the 6 interviews that we conducted. By the way, this mixed research method, it was really useful because the comments that users left on the feedback issue, it was kind of reactive, and also it lacked the contextual information because they would probably be doing this, clicking on the link to the feedback issue out of a reaction because they were facing some problems, and they just wanted to go there and put their thoughts. But when we conducted the interview, we were able to get a context to all of those comments that were there on the issue. So it was very helpful. Now, some very important areas that emerged in the analysis were like users had to say a lot about the colors that we are using in the graph. Then there were a lot of comments around the visualization improvements, and that was obvious because that was the MVC and it was not a very polished iteration that we provided. Then need for a single visualization. This came out to be a very prominent insight again. And this is again the same thing that I was talking about before. And I would talk about it a little more in the next slide. Then other areas were interaction improvements, which was obvious. Yeah. Then CI minutes optimization. This is something that didn't even occur on the public feedback issue, but in the interview, almost everybody mentioned that the DAG visualization, this is going to help them a lot in optimizing their CI minutes usage. And it kind of aligns with our present direction as well. So I thought this is a really good to know information. And hopefully we'll be able to do something with this. Then the other areas were discoverability, then feature enhancement, and all of that, some very obvious stuff. Then for insights, we got 8 very major insights out of this whole exercise. The first was show status of the jobs along with the dependencies. So what was happening was the status of the jobs were shown in the regular pipeline view, and only the needs and other needs related information was shown on the DAG visualization. So just to see the status of the jobs, they had to switch between these two visualizations. Then in the second one, show jobs that are not dependent on the jobs in the DAG visualization. Now, like I said before, not all jobs had to be dependent on any other job. So what was happening on the DAG visualization was the jobs that were not dependent or there were no jobs depending on them, they vanished from the view for some reason. They were just not there. Then provide more value through colors. Users felt really good, in fact, about the colors that they said, oh, this is so pretty. But what do I do with this? I mean, they really didn't know what that represented. So they were clueless about what the color was there for. And add a visual indicator for job execution duration. Again, duration was something very important for them. And they felt like even though you have come up with such an elaborate visualization, there's again no provision for communicating the execution duration there. Then bring the DAG capabilities in the existing pipeline visualization. So users were insistent that, did you even try doing this? Like, did you even try fixing the connections in that? And that was the reason we went ahead with that solution, even in the while that the analysis was still underway. Then a good to know information, which is not exactly actionable at this point, was significance of DAG visualization to understand CI minutes consumption and ways of optimization. Probably we can act on this in coming future. Then another insight was highlight the dependency trail on hover. This was just an interaction thing and it was easy to fix. Then the name DAG is misleading and not enough guidance available through UI for new users. And this was the reason the last time I made this presentation, it was name of the presentation was DAG visualization, but this time I changed that to needs relationship because that's more easy to understand, and probably it's also going to be changed on the interface for the users in the documentation as well. Now, following the Twitter trend, how it started and how it's going. So this is how it started and this is how it's going. So there were a lot of things that we learned from the research that we conducted, but probably when we weighed like this is, if we try to act on all of those insights and fix the visualization that we started off with, it's going to probably take a lot of time, but is it worth giving all the time? So right now, I'm not the DRI for this exercise anymore. This would be taken up by Nadia Sotnikova and Dove. So they are doing their best in understanding, like evaluating this decision that, uh, is it worth making so many changes to this visualization? Or should we just go with a simpler implementation of the solution? And yeah, so this is the current state of this whole exercise. That is all that I had to present. Thank you. Any questions?
This is a great presentation, Vitika. Thanks so much. I found your explanation about the process and the features and your vision on this so clear and so involving. Great stuff. And also, I think many people commented in the comments that the way you have collected the input, it was very creative. I think we should do more of that. Anybody else in the crowd has questions or comments?
I have to have a comment. I really enjoyed this too. It was fun to hear. The name direct acyclic graphs always confused me, and I wasn't sure if I was the only one. So here you said I wasn't the only one. I went, okay, good. I loved hearing you talk about the utility of issue comments versus actual research, because that's my experience too, is that comments on an issue, they are tactical, they are reactive, and they're more directional. So to me, they're a way to kind of go, oh, that's interesting. This is probably something we should explore further, not take them literally and take action usually directly on those comments. And that's not 100% true all the time, but I think it's probably truer than not. So to hear you look at it that way and go, oh, it raised some themes we need to consider. Now we're going to explore those further to understand the deeper context behind them, is exactly the way I think we should be thinking about that research flow. So thank you for talking through that.
Thanks. Yeah, it was like this whole process, it was not planned, but how it panned out, it was really good. I would say this was very productive.
Definitely, and your presentation shows that. Thanks a lot, Vitika. We are a little bit over the time, but hey, we don't have a forced presentation in the call, but I ask everyone to go and please watch the recording of Ian's presentation about the registry customization. There is a Loom link in the agenda file, and I thank you all for attention, for the great questions, and have a good day.